Hi Virgo, welcome to your week ahead Taroscope with me, Raphael from Reydiant Reality. It's an absolute pleasure to have you. Thank you so much for being here. Thank you so much for joining me. Quick note, my readings are for your sun, moon and ascendant sign. So whether you're a sun, moon or rising sign Virgo, this is for you. And I always advise that you watch all three to get a clearer, more complete picture of how they're going to speak to you. With that said, remember they are general readings. Not everything's going to resonate with everybody and that is just fine. You should always use your own discernment. Before we start, as always, I would like to bless my decks of cards with all forms of love, light, peace, prosperity and abundance. And I pray that the messages that come through are ultimately clear and concise and they help you on your path to your highest vibrational good. So for your key to the week this week, you've got the Justice card, right? And in a lot of ways, this kind of, the words that I heard when I put this card on the board, you know, justice it's quite a strong word, isn't it? But this week, I actually feel like the words that I heard in my mind were, justice will be served, right? So if there's something that you're waiting for an answer on, if there's something this week that you are waiting for a settlement on, or if something has been dragging on and you've been kind of biting your nails over it, like, is this going to be all right? Am I going to be all right? Is it going to settle in my favor? The words that I heard when a card pulled the card out are justice will be served. So this week the Justice card is getting, and sometimes if you know anything about tarot, you know there are times where tarot gets really literal, like, and this week that's what the Justice card feels like. So if you've been waiting for something and waiting for a decision and you've been kind of like, you know what, I need this to go my way, justice will be served. Whatever that means to you, I truly hope that it helps. So with that said, if you are a continued subby, you know Ruffy loves ya. And if you're new to my channel, please don't forget to like, share, and if you should so choose, and this resonates, hit the subscribe button. For your actions and options, we've got the Justice card. Wow. Okay. Tarot has been, he's been very vocal this week, right? Like, the cards have always spoken to me. They always do speak to me. I always get messages from them. I even had a period where I used to start my readings with laying the cards face down. And there were moments where literally I could see like a halo ring around certain cards. Before I even knew what the card was, you know, with my eyes, I knew that there was something about that card that was speaking to the whole reading, as they all do in a sense, but you get my point. But this week, I gotta say, Tarot has been super vocal. Like, he's like insistent about some stuff. So I'm really intrigued here. You got this double hit of this Justice card. Your actions and options, this is about what you do, right? And the Justice card is about commitments. So this is you committed to seeing something through, and it's you committed to making sure that justice is served. So I'm really interested in how this sort of shapes up or shows up for a lot of you. If you're signing any form of a contract this week, I'm going to say this with a double hit of the Justice card, you are going to be bound to this, right? Make sure it's something that you really want to do. Make sure that it's something that you really are going to have. And I don't really have to say this to Virgos, because you guys, like, once you decide you're in something, you tend to be in it. You're just like, yeah, roll up my sleeves, get on with it, done. But I will say, like, this week, whatever you do sign up to, whatever you do sign on for, you will be held to it. So just make sure that it is something that you really do want to be a part of. For your communications and conversations, you've got the 8 of Wands, specifically when it comes to contracts and sales, when it comes to land, when it comes to things that you're buying that you aren't necessarily seeing. So, you know, like, some people will buy a piece of land and they'll never visit that piece of land until they own it or whatever. This week, I urge you not to do that, right? If you're purchasing something like a home, if you're purchasing something, or even if you're purchasing something on behalf of somebody else, this week, get boots on the ground. Don't do it just from the feel, all right? With a week like this and this strong an energy for signing contracts, etc., they're going to stick, all right? And there's not going to be any backing out of it. So just make sure that you are about whatever it is that you're signing. Now, this is a lot of communication, emails, text messages, maybe not text messages because it looks to be quite legal. So probably not text messages, but there's a lot of emails, there's a lot of phone calls happening this week. Communication is high this week for you guys. There's going to be a lot of talking, a lot of backwards and forwards, lots of weighing things up, lots of documentation, getting things filed, getting things sorted, getting things in place. Now, that being said, for those of you that are employed by somebody else, yours could be the deciding vote on something this week, right? So it may very well be that whatever comes up, it's like, you know, they say, right, well, we'll put it to a vote, or, you know, everyone voices their opinion and then you're the last person left, and it's your voice is going to be the one that, you know, swings it either way. It's going to be a very interesting week for you guys when it comes to your those of you that are business owners, people that work for themselves, especially if you're buying land or you're buying a space for your business. You have to get boots on the ground. I cannot stress this enough. Don't just sign off on it without ever going there. You've got to be there and present. That message is so insistent right now. Whatever that means, whoever needs to hear it. For those of you that are retired and no longer working, for some of you, this could literally be you researching the law. You know, maybe you've had a fallout with your neighbor and now you're looking at, right, can I legally tear down sorry, I laugh because it's so petty, but you know, you see these things on TV like Neighbours from Hell, and it's like, this all started when I pulled down my fence, and you're just like, oh, you people have way too much time. Jokes aside though, for a lot of you that are retired or no longer working, it looks like you're doing the research or the legwork on some form of a legal matter. Maybe for some of you, this is just for, you know, shits and giggles. Maybe it's literally just because you want to know, not necessarily for a reason, but it does look like it will be something that has a legal or official kind of energy to it. For your love and relations, you've got the Seven of Wands. So for those of you, specifically those of you that are in the process of divorce, specifically for those of you that are in the process of dissolving or ending a relationship, that Seven of Wands does suggest that the partner is digging their heels in, right? You're going to have to deal with a little bit of grit this week. So this is something that you need to be aware of. The Seven of Wands, when coupled with the Justice card, and you've got a double hit of that, usually always represents some sort of legal dispute, battle, challenge or issue, or some challenge, battle or issue that ends up going into court in some way, shape or form. I'm really sorry to say that. Now, for those of you that are partnered, married and in long-term commitments that aren't ending, this could be a week where you and your partner are fighting something on the wider world stage together. So maybe you're appealing against a local authority. Maybe you are suing a business of some sort. You know, maybe they haven't delivered on goods or services or whatever. With this energy, to be fair, I actually think you'll be all right. Remember what the message was with the Justice card, the first one out. You know, justice will be served. So whatever that means. When it comes to you, those of you that are single, in all fairness, it could be that you're meeting somebody while you're in battle mode, right? And maybe that's what attracts them to you. It is the Seven of Wands, which suggests that maybe you might rub each other the wrong way, certainly at the start. So something to consider. For your money and materials, you've got the Two of Wands. So for those of you that have, for those of you that are buying, it looks like you're doing this at the right time. For those of you that are selling, it looks like you're getting a good price. This is a really good week for you to negotiate, right? To look at contracts, to look at how can I get the most out of this? And more importantly, how can I do it in a way that's balanced and fair? But this is a great card for money and finances. And it looks like for those of you that are setting up shop, buying new spaces, like it has the potential, because it looks like you're surrounding yourself with affluence. So it has the potential to really skyrocket everything that you're doing. You just need to make sure that it's the right space, and you'll know that by the feel. When it comes to your physical health and vitality, this is going to be the head, the noggin, this whole sort of area, to be fair. With this much sort of air and fire, it does, because that's all this is just literally air and fire. So It's like this week you are either a self-fulfilling prophecy, you're getting high on your own supply, or you are a self-sustaining feedback loop. Make sure it's a positive one, all right? When it comes to your home and environment, it looks like some of you are thinking about changing the home. And you know, there's a lot appears to be going on in your, what I would call your immediate environment. When it comes to your full moon message, so the full moon in the sign of Leo is technically, for your ascendant at least, in your 12th house, right? 12th house moon always puts a spotlight and a highlight on your hidden enemies, or on your self-sabotaging tendencies. Remember, when I talk astrology, I'm always using the whole sign system and the tropical zodiac. What I find interesting about a full moon in the 12th house is it usually highlights to you where you're getting in your own way, right? This is the beauty of a full moon in the 12th house. If you have any hidden enemies or people that are working against you at cross purposes, the full moon in a 12th house tends to highlight them. It tends to bring them out into the open. Good, because I hate all of that sort of stuff. If you're having a 12th house moon as well, this might highlight to you your personal past. There could be a visitation from the past in some way, shape or form. And then finally, your Human Design Oracle card for your full moon message is the Gate 8 and Contribution. So you've got 2 8s here technically, because you've got the 8 of Wands. 2 8s represents knowledge, new knowledge. New knowledge, new information is making its way to you around that full moon, and it may be the thing that sort of changes or sways your mind on something, right? So this contribution card, it's about digging into what is uniquely you. So in a lot of ways, because you've got that moon in the 12th house, this might be a time where you're highlighting something that you really wanted to do once upon a time. Maybe it's getting a fresh go or a fresh perspective in some way, shape or form. With that said, I wish you an abundance of all of that good stuff. Have a fantastic week. Let me know in the comments how it shapes up. Take care, and I'll see you soon.